Hello everyone. Today we have with us Anshul Kothari on board. He's a finalist, Commonwealth Games finalist in 2010, which was conducted in Delhi, and he has also represented India at various Asian Games like the 2010 Asian Games, 2014, and 2018. A bit about his academic journey. He has also done his MBA from Indian School of Business, and he did a computer engineering degree from NIT Surat. Hi Anshul,
Hi, Ashintya. How are you?
I'm doing great. What about you?
I'm good too.
Yeah. So I want you to give some of your highlights from your profile. Like I gave very short and crisp introduction.
I think whatever introduction you have given is the best, and I think I also believe in short and crisp introduction. So, yeah, I mean, you've done a good job.
Okay. Okay, no issue. So you started into the technical world, like the computer engineering, which kind of feel a tech guy and a nerd guy. So what made you shift, from computer engineering and go for an MBA degree at ISB?
I mean, see, lot of the businesses in today's world, let's say, for example, it's either finance, marketing, and in a lot of the industries like banking and the mobile app industry or the e-commerce, everything happens online. We are living in a world where from shopping to payments in business to business sector, which is B2B, as well as business to customer, which is B2C, or even D2C, which is direct to customer. All of this is happening online. People are doing it in a digital way, and ever since the pandemic has started, it has only increased more. So, at after finishing my master's in, I mean, bachelor's in 2012, I was pretty much sure that I wanted to go into the business field where it can also help me go into a sector which has a mix of technology and business both. And for that, it was important to do a MBA degree and understand how businesses work, how technology businesses work. It's something like a Microsoft, which is purely a B2B business.
Yeah.
And uh, let's say there are engineers in Microsoft. I'm just giving an example of Microsoft, but this applies to even Google or anywhere else. There are engineers who purely develop softwares and applications and make it ready to sell. But then somebody has to do the selling as well. That's where the business guys come, who understand a bit of technology as well and who understand the market dynamics as well. So, which is where a lot of these MBA grads, people like me, who um, can help these technology firms to sell their products in their market. And this is one example. E-commerce is another example. Be it Amazon, be it Flipkart, or be it any other small e-commerce business. The technology guys are just behind the scenes, but then somebody has to do all the analytics of selling and what the customer preferences are, and somebody needs to make the sense of the data. So, which is where again the business guys come into play. A lot of the startups are also going into funding, and this is where again the business guys come into picture. So it's not like if it's a technology startup, it's only the people who are into engineering who are doing the work. Of course, they're doing the product side work, but then somebody has to understand the buying preferences, market dynamics, and a lot of other things from funding to marketing to compliances, and which is where MBAs help. So, which is what I do, and that was what my interest was. So, which is why I did an MBA after my engineering.
Okay. So you mentioned a lot of like technical aspects and technical words, and you made it sound like a cheesecake. But this was kind of your academic side, but you had also your extracurricular as a swimming, like competitive swimming, and you were doing at a very high level. So, like, how did you manage competitive swimming with all these like computer engineering and MBA while you were doing these degrees?
So, I mean, I before I joined my engineering degree, I wasn't too good in swimming, in the sense that yeah, I was there in the top six in my age group years, and I did not make the junior Indian team. So yeah, I mean, of course, from home there was pressure that please study some degree, and I took up computer engineering, not knowing that what the future was going to be. And soon, I think, in fact, even during my first year itself, I performed well in the senior nationals, and I slowly got into the Commonwealth Games team. So, I mean, 1 year before the Commonwealth Games, we actually had training camps in the business. So, from that point onwards, I never looked back, and quitting a degree was also not an option. So, because I got admission into NIT Surat, and I think it didn't make really sense to quit that. And yeah, I somehow I decided that I'll work extra hard and cut off all the distractions and manage both my swimming and competitions, and will not let anything suffer. So yeah, it was hard. It was not that easy, but I think it was doable. And I think I did the same during my MBA as well. I wasn't planning to swim during my MBA, but eventually ended up swimming. So yeah, sometimes you just have to take it how things are there, and maybe work it from there and figure your way out.
So, like, what made you, or what like pushed you to continue both swimming as well as academics, and like both at the highest, like the more on a higher side, like you were swimming competitively during your MBA, and MBA, it takes a lot of toll on yourself because you have to attend seminars, meetings, and all kind of classes. So, how did you take that toll on yourself?
See, there is. I always had this question that what after sport, because as an athlete, one needs to be mindful that the number of years playing a sport, which is non-cricketing sport in India, especially, you don't know how much time you'll get to play and what life you'll make out of that after sport. So it's pretty much clear that if sport has to happen, I need to also start preparing for my future after that. And I just figured out the right time where I could study a degree, and during that year, there weren't much international meets, so that probably helped. And I think I did skip one or two international meets due to my exams during MBA, but I think that was fine. I was You just need to decide what to do when and manage your priorities, and basically I would say balance your priorities, because I mean in the life you need to learn multitasking.
Always do it on my own, so I gotta get through it. And the only thing I know is to love what I'm doing. Never give up, never slow, till I finally prove it. Never listen to the no's, I just wanna keep moving. Yeah, I put out all this art, it's my only medicine. Yeah, everything I do, I'm just being genuine. Yeah, I'm sick
So
of
you said a lot of management skills. So why don't I go with this question that what are the three habits that you inculcated to help you guide through both academics, juggling academics and swimming together?
I mean, uh, first thing was the discipline that okay, if you need to do something, as in if I need to train X number of hours, then I need to train. If I need to sleep X hours, I need to sleep, and if I need to study X hours, I do need to sleep. And I was following all of that very diligently. And uh, if I had time after that, then I could like indulge in anything else, any other extra activities. But if I didn't have time, I should probably stick to my routine. And I think probably discipline was one of the main things. Second thing, as I said, planning and time management. So planning, especially during my MBA, was I think one of the few things I kept in mind, that the time schedules were very planned. It was planned to the minute, and I made sure I stuck to it without any distractions. I wasn't using much social media or sitting around with friends, chilling in canteens, and doing any frivolous activities, which was sort of, I mean, time was luxury for me during MBA. And I think I was more serious also about my MBA than I was for my engineering in that sense. Because see, engineering is spread across 4 years. So you sort of get time. There are a lot of vacations in the middle, and course load is much divided during engineering, but in MBA you just don't have time. Everything happens very fast, whether it's a 1 year course or a 2 year course. So I think planning and time management was the second thing. The last thing was that I was very honest with myself. I mean, you can fool the world, you cannot fool yourself. So which meant that if I was not sticking to my plans, I was very much honest about it. Okay, I mean, I need to do something and not get distracted and fall back in line. And if I was not able to study properly or sleep properly, and I was analyzing all of that and why am I not able to do it on certain days, and uh, with that honest feedback and analysis to myself, I was able to carry on with my rigorous schedule.
Okay.
I mean, I make it sound easy. I know I make it sound easy, but it definitely wasn't. So yeah, I mean, I wouldn't really recommend I wouldn't really recommend anyone to try this adventure, but because it was hard. So
Sure.
yeah, I mean,
So my next question to you is that you have witnessed this sport, grow, kind of grow from 2010 or earlier. So my question is like, why were there no A cuts, like Olympic A cuts, during, those kind of 2010 or earlier, and now like 10, 11 years down the line, we have two A cuts. So what were the drawbacks back in your time and in the Indian swimmers or Indian swimming, to be precise?
I think a lot of the thing was that people were doing B cuts during that time as well. But I think there's like over the past decade, I think with every passing year, the government support has increased a lot. And at the same time, with the help of social media, a lot of the knowledge is also easily available. A lot of the research is easily available. And I think even in the past, as I said, government has given more access to funds to swimmers, which means people have been able to travel abroad for competitions, for training camps, or people from experts from abroad have been traveling to India and helping out the swimmers with techniques or anything else. So I think that part was missing during those years. We did have government support, but and people were doing B cuts, and I think Sandeep and Veertaval did get quite close to it. So I mean, like I wouldn't say that we were too far off back then as well, but sometimes it's just that somebody needs to break the barrier, and then a lot of people start doing it.
Yeah. So any other series or changes in the athletes? You gave like a perspective into the funding from government and training aspects, but any kind of aspects from the swimmer side that swimmers have done this or changed their schedule or changed their type of training, things like that that made them work hard and get to closer to the A cuts and achieving them eventually.
No, I mean, see, I wouldn't say swimmers back then weren't working hard. I mean, swimmers were working hard back then also. Swimmers are working hard now also. But I think a lot of the burden, which is from funding, it solves a lot of issues. It solves a lot of problems, and you can have easily access to more resources with more money. And sometimes that makes all the difference. And also, back in then, I still remember during 2010 Asian Games, we were training on 25-meter pool because some of the pools were shut or under renovation. We didn't have good blocks to train on. And the sprinter, all of us, we were very much suffering from that, not having good blocks to practice on. And I think now there's two good pools in India, as in one in Delhi with Calcutta Stadium and the one in Bangalore, the Dolphins Academy, which probably has a good uh, competition-specific blocks. So it is useful to make track start, and a lot of the Indian sprinters are now benefiting from that as well. So, which I think, and also with that kind of an academy, both from Calcutta or the Dolphins, I think Glenmark is at Calcutta, I'm not wrong. So see, that has also helped. We have also had some private funding as well from Glenmark in the last 5 years, I think. So that also helps to build an ecosystem, because I think they have also brought in a lot of foreign coaches for an extended period of time. So with that, a lot of the swimmers good uh, get consistent practice and consistent workouts of the which the people abroad are doing. So it's a combination of facilities, infrastructure, and training methods, as well as funding, which has probably led to an improvement in timings of the Indian swimming.
So you have kind of a very diverse profile with multiple interests. So, like, what is your ultimate goal, and any kind of particular career thoughts that you have right now?
I mean, as of now, I haven't really have had an ultimate goal, or a goal which I say it's an ultimate goal. Yeah, I mean, I do have various interests in life, and that keeps me happy. And as I said, too much of anything is bad. So, including, I think, is a message for young swimmers that you have too much obsessed about swimming, you're probably not going to get uh, good results, because that's not healthy. So I think having varied interests helps me. Uh, like I can switch my mind from one activity to another, and sometimes gain synergies out of that. So, yeah.
Okay. So, any parting thoughts before we sign off today?
No, I mean, if you have any other questions, I'll be happy to answer.
No, like kind of any advice or any suggestions that you wanted to give to the future swimmers or the future Indian youngsters who are aspiring to make it to the Olympics for the Paris 2024.
I mean, trust in yourself and your coach, and keep working hard on a consistent basis, and keep a good track of your diet and sleep as well. And I think, I'm sure, with this and a balanced mind, I'm sure swimmers will be able to achieve their goals, and hopefully we'll see more Olympians in 2024.
Thanks a lot for coming up and sharing so many information about your journey, as well as spreading information and kind of giving uh, the various changes that happened in Indian swimming, to be particular, that has helped Indian swimmers grow over the past decade, I guess. And thank you for coming up and taking out time for this.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye bye.